Now, when you think about the modern MG, you always think about the affordable electric cars with interesting and cool looks. Well, just recently, MG has released their premium IM sub-brand that most definitely isn't cheap compared to their other MG electric cars. They have also revealed this car a few months ago. This is the MG S6 EV, and it is basically an electric version of the MG HS, and it sits above the S5 EV, obviously. Let's have a look to see what it is like. Welcome to Everything Cars and More. So, starting with the design at the front, we can clearly see it follows the design trend of MGs from other EVs. Although you could almost class this as a Vauxhall with its very futuristic and sporty looking boomerang LED daytime running lights. Lower down on the bumper you have your main headlight units, which looks like some big side vents, and again this gives this front end an aggressive look. We also get a sporty looking lower central air vent with some very sharp creases. With this we also get a bit of silver elements on it too, which looks very similar to what BMWs have, but also more importantly the MG Cyberster. This also adds a bit of colour at the front, which is really nice. I could see this being badged as a Vauxhall and it would still look good. Move around to the side of the MG S6 EV, and the design is a bit plain and some would say boring, but the design is functional and pleasant to the eye. We do get some silver elements as well as the usual matte black wheel arches and seals. We also get some chrome window surrounds too, which are getting rarer these days. Finally, we also have some cool looking wheels and a lot of glass too, which should help the cabin. More on that later. Moving around to the back, and again it seems quite plain and restricted for an MG, but this helps give it a premium feel. We get these slim tail lights that do look like they've come from a Mercedes CLA EQ, and these tail lights are connected with a light bar. The boot opening is plain, but we do get a fake rear diffuser and more silver and matte black elements. Overall then, the design isn't that bad, and I do think it will sell. Or will it? Well, that's going to depend on what battery and motor options you can have with the new MG S6 EV. Let's have a look. So, for the MG S6 EV, there are two options to choose from. Let's start with the base model. This uses a 77 kWh battery pack and a 241 brake horsepower single motor setup, powering the rear wheels, making this car rear wheel drive. This is good enough for 0 to 62 in 7.3 seconds, which is quick for this size of car. The range on this model is about 329 miles on a full charge, which isn't too bad actually. The next version is the dual motor version, and this is only available on the top spec trophy models as an option. This still uses the same 77 kWh battery pack, but the power has been increased to 356 brake horsepower, which is quite a lot, and it can put its power down very well thanks to its dual motor setup and four-wheel drive. This reduces the 0 to 262 time down to 5.1 seconds, which is quite quick actually. The range on this one does reduce slightly down to 301 miles, but it is still very usable on a day-to-day basis, which is quite good. Right, so now let's talk about the price of the MG S6 EV. And for this car, it starts at £37,995. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a lot for a normal MG. One of their most expensive cars in fact, if you don't include the IM range or the Cyberster. But I will show you why when we have a look inside the MG S6 EV. So, climbing inside the new MG S6 EV, and it has a similar interior layout to the S5, but also it is quite similar to the IM6 interior interestingly. To start with, we get this quite luxurious dashboard with premium fake leather and trim panels. We also get a heads-up display, which is a first on an MG, as well as a clear instrument cluster which is easy to read and quite customisable too. We also get the same infotainment system from the S5, which works in a similar way to other MG models. but with a bigger screen. The centre console is quite similar to the IM5, where we have a wireless charging pad next to the gear selector. We also get a few physical buttons too, and plenty of storage on and underneath the centre console. What I also like is that the centre console is quite high up, making you feel like you are sitting lower and in a sports car. The steering wheel is the usual MG steering wheel, which looks nice, feels nice in the hand, and has physical buttons. Finally, the seats have a very premium design to them, with premium materials and a ventilated option too. I also like the fact that they are grey and not black material like so many other cars. Personally, I think we need to bring back the grey materials. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below, and whilst you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, let's have a look to see what the rear seats are like. So, climbing into the back of the MG S6 EV, and we get plenty of legroom as well as a decent amount of headroom with the panoramic roof option even. You also get loads of premium materials as well as an armrest, air vents and USB-C ports, and even heated rear seats on the high spec models. Again, another first for MG. You also get a sense of luxury, which is great. Right, let's have a look at the boot. So, opening the boot to the new S6 EV, and you're welcomed with a decent amount of 674 litres. This is very usable, and there is also no load lip either, and the boot opening is quite low. Folding the seats 60-40 split, and this increases to 1,910 litres, which is also great, and there isn't a hump to lift things over either. You also get a front boot too in the S6 EV, and this is quite big at 124 litres in size, so there's plenty of room for your charging cables. So, in summary then, what do I think of the new MG S6 EV? Well, to be honest, it is a car that's quite hard to summarise, because I want to be honest with you and show you both sides, the good and the bad points. But to be honest, it is hard to say anything bad about the S6 EV. MG are always making great EVs, and this is no exception. The looks are great, and you get the best MG interior I have seen on an MG, and it is even better feeling than the BMW X1 or Mercedes GLA. The specification on the MG is amazing too, as is the powertrain. The only negative thing I can think of is that it is pricey for an MG, as MG are known for making cheaper models. But then I do think this car can warrant the high price. All you need to do is sit inside and you will agree with me. You even get the usual 7-year warranty. So, looking for a quirky family electric SUV? You may have found the answer to that question. So, what do you think of this car then? Leave a comment below, and whilst you're at it, don't forget to give a like and subscribe to Everything Cars and More. I'll see you in the next video.